everyone, welcome back. So today, as I said, is going to be a much simpler day. We're going to be working deeper into the quarry. Oh my gosh, I love that door. I love the old door sounds. You know, this place is starting to feel more established. I need to as well make myself a couple of things. And another thing, is whenever I go back to working on the... So if I head out here and head over to here, I like this upper area here, but going down, this is too steep in my opinion. So but I still want it to be wood, so I've concocted a way of doing this, right? So I was gonna put like 2 layers of blocks. I was gonna put 1 block, 1 stair all the way down to extend it out a little, right? Because to me it feels way too steep, for its area. I mean, like, like the fact that I forgot that this version has stairs, though, is kind of funny, actually. Because of all the things of me to forget is that this version has stairs. I knew. Sorry about that. A younger sibling decided that they wanted to tell me about Rob that I've unlocked a while back, and they didn't see it. There's a couple new characters there. Playing Super Smash Bros. While I'm doing this. So what I have here is I need a ton of oh yeah, I need to grab some of these. Alright, I'm probably going to be making some more of these. There we go. I think 8 will be plenty. Alright, and now we can go bam, 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 and boom, just like this. Also, in the meantime, I have been working on a vintage story, a whole thing on vintage story. Like, I'm not gonna explain the whole presence of it. You'll hear my brother walk in a couple of times. Also, yeah, this feels slowly feeling way more developed. Alright, so, since I have my coffee and everything that I told, the younger one to, like, quiet a little, because, the laughing was a bit loud, but, yeah, like, they're just picking up on my noise gate. Which, like, I mean, it's good that they're having fun playing Smash, but, like, I think, what's going to take the longest is, so, I have a couple of things that I'm gonna do right as soon as I'm gonna explain, like, what my vintage story, what I was gonna do with the vintage story series that I'm currently gonna be making a perma-start on, right? So the first thing I'm gonna be doing is, well, I'm is the first year, is year 1 will be stone tools only, right? I'm only allowed to be in the Stone Age for the full first year, and I think I'm only on session 2 apparently. I thought I was on session 3 whenever I last looked at it. So like, yeah, like that was so like yeah, that was kind of quite nice. So yeah, that was that. I think so like yeah, there's like, but yeah, like other than miscounting the amount of the amount of with despite counting despite accidentally having the wrong amount of despite thinking I had the wrong amount of time, though there was a couple of things that I can't if I like open my add a regular source, let me make a screen capture, add a new screen capture, and then currently I'm just gonna press OK. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put it onto Dolphin real quick, which by the way Dolphin is my is where I manage everything. And besides, it's not like I'm gonna be. Let me close that as well. So if I pop into here, no wait, hold on. I just have to go into here, and okay. So as you can see right here, I have this is originally on my games drive, right? Then if I go into here, sort, I have 2 of these, right? This one's a 15 gigabyte and this one's a 31 gigabyte files. But yeah, we have these. I'm trying to get DaVinci's Resolve working. But being as it, what if I told you that these are? What if I told you that like this is only 1920 by 1080? This is a 3-hour video here, and this one's a 1-hour duration. Around 35 megabits per second for the bit rate. So like it's so like yeah, the bit rates are a bit high, right? But yeah, I just thought I'd show you that, right? But yeah, that's that was just 2 sessions, by the way. Like that's like I'm not, because like I usually like record like multiple sessions at once, because like I realized that like that's way better than doing it all in one day. Then I could get way more squeeze way more content in, etc. So I do have an entire mod list as well. You know, I would love to. I would love to make a Minecraft server that's just based entirely off this version, right? You know, but like I could probably use Modern or Beta for that, or even just like, you know, though probably the easiest thing to do would probably be probably just be doing a just regular beta rather than, or even alpha. Because I know I have an alpha server software. I have alpha server software. No, I'm not even joking you. Like, I think I have like a whole zip file of like every of the old alpha and beta server jars, and so like, and they're like, they legitimately run the server. I have a beta 1.2 _02 server, right? That I occasionally play on. But like, yeah, it's kind of that one really. Yeah, there's a. Maybe I might be able to maybe make a patch to like help with how much there is to help with the main part of this, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly go like this here, and boom, boom. There we go. But yeah, yeah, like I think like because like I know this version had multiplayer at one point. I don't know. I don't think Marcus Pearson would end up giving me or Notch would. I don't think he'd give me his old. I don't think he'd give me the server files like just to host one of these. Like, because even then I'd still have to make a patch for this version, which I mean, like, probably would probably be a little bit of a nightmare, right? Because like I can't remember how well this does. Which but yeah, there's a lot of things that yeah, there's a wait okay, I'm just gonna keep mining this since my brain is like early broken right now. I think my main problem is I might actually end up going out of my way to, well, getting a ton of. I'm just hoping that whenever we get down deep enough, we'll actually find diamonds, and if not, we're just gonna be like, well, that's fluffed. So I know diamonds exist. They are literally in the files. They exist. The ores exist. I know they do. They're just really hard to find. So what I mean, like, diamonds used to be an absolutely wonder send around because, like, there's like, oh my gosh, they're so rare. Though to be fair, some of the things that I play with in slightly modern variants of Minecraft are like modded. So like 1.2.5 and such. What is that? All right. So while I think like the main part of this is we're gonna like slowly whittle all of this down. Because we know like this will be probably one of my longest projects of all time, and I do eventually need to make an entire drive for that. But I might have to go out of my way though, and I think like the reason why I really want to just use DaVinci, right, is because I have a studio, right? So like I don't want that to go to waste. So like I'm trying to like get it to launch, but it gets stuck at like the colors page, right? I might I can't really find much of an issue, like, and I'm not sure if this is just a make resolve deb issue or if it's just an outright problem with the newest version of Resolve, which is 21. I might have to I might have to dig further into the issue and see, maybe like gather some logs and such, and see if I can find the log. See if the logs can tell me anything. Cause like it's not the first time I've ever read a decent chunk of logs. reason why I don't really want to use Caden, right, is because for some reason it's like really fiddly with me. Like, maybe it's, I'm not sure if it's the layout or whatever, but it just doesn't feel right for me, right? And some people have recommended that if I still wanted to use it, to probably move over to Mint, but I just like Debian. Listen, I'm already quite established here on Debian, so and I refuse to use Ubuntu. Like, I just call Ubuntu as the more Corpo related Debian. But yeah, like there's a to be fair, like I've been thinking of trying Nix maybe, right? And so like so I'm going to maybe make a does anyone else use Nix, so I can at least get like a bit of tips from those who use Nix. Cause I think I've like messed with Nix a little, but like I didn't, didn't do much with it. And if so, does anybody use what is it and does anybody use Resolve on Nix? If so, then how does it run? And would I be able to use my Mesa drivers there? Would I be able to use Mesa on my AMD card? Because I currently, I currently do not feel like slotting in the 1660, the 1650, excuse me, because for just an app, for a single application, like genuinely. Like, that seems like it seems like almost like a waste of time to just connect it. Like, even though, like, yeah, it doesn't require power, which is the nice thing about the 1650, is it doesn't require a power cable. Makes it way easier to use. Though I think it could benefit from one. I have a mod idea for that now. I'm going to make it. I could probably get that thing running Cyberpunk at a really good level. Like, all I'd have to do is like allow it to give it extra juice, maybe. I could double the VRAM, maybe. Like, I know where to buy VRAM chips, so like I might just cause like I know like there are some extra VRAM slots on there. So if I like double the VRAM, like it could I could double the VRAM, right? And give it a nice little, and then give it a very give it a really nice overclock, and maybe get like a custom shroud for it, you know, get like a or maybe like find like a water block that would fit on it. Like maybe I could find a custom water block shroud, which would be really cool. I have no which and then once I have the water block on it, I can have it connected to like its own little AIO, and then like overclock that. I don't know, maybe that's just I don't know, maybe that's also just me who just wants an excuse to do extreme overclocking on a cheap ass card. That's it'd be super fun. I just but yeah, like it's But yeah, it reminds me of like one of my dreams of as a kid, always wanting like because I've always wanted one of those a kingpin card, right? Because those were amazing. Like I do love overclocking in general. I know some people wouldn't really touch the overclock, but I get genuine curiosity of what if I tweak this? What if I tweak that? Like I genuinely fell into overclocking, and as soon as I started, like my brain, it tickled my brain because like I absolutely enjoy doing it. Like I think I think like it's probably one of my favorite. I think it's one of my favorite things to do in the currently. I think like on Linux I currently have like core control, right? Which I think I have core control, and there's another one that I need to download to as well allow me to mess with my current overclock. I have a factory overclock from the factory, which by the way, I'm currently running the regular. Which, by the way, I'm currently running the regular factory overclock because I haven't did redid my custom overclock. But one thing I've noticed from the fact is that the factory overclock didn't even max it out, so I could bump things up a little. I think like I bumped it up almost like two, like twice as much from the factory, almost, and that was really cool. I decided not to keep it that far because I didn't want to like push the heating too much. I wanted to at least get like a nice little custom like shroud or water block at least for my for my system. For the GPU, right? I'd love for it to be silent. Which is why I'm which is why I'm thinking that like if I go out of my way to make like a water block for it, I'm going to have to use Noctua fans, obviously. Um, yeah, it's not even. I'm not even going to. I'm just gonna outright say it. Like, I do prefer them. Though yet again, I think currently I have like cheaper fans at the moment, so I'm like looking into like getting all my fans like Noctua'd out. I'm gonna go with like all black since like that's basically my entire system is black with a little bit of white. With a little bit of white and soon to be purple, right? And some purple sprinkled in, right? Um, like yeah, it's um I just which like I do not like way too much. I which like I think currently what I'm looking into is cable extensions with some nice I've been looking into like cable extensions for to make it purple. Because cable extensions are very nice. Well, I'm mainly doing it for aesthetic purposes. Which I'm probably just going to get the ones from Asia Horse, I think it was. I think it was Asia Horse. Like, cause there are several things. I do not have like lights on in my PC. I really don't like lights in my PC. Which which I know sounds insane. Like, I don't like lights in my PC, which I don't know. Maybe that's just a personal preference, or maybe that's just like maybe that's just my personal aesthetic. Like RGB is just has too much flare, if that makes sense. Like I don't like too much flare. If I was to add like any form of glow, I would say I'd probably add like some form of. I'd probably add a transparent side. I'd probably add a side panel that would display like display things on the side, and I think I'd probably just have it run off of its own. I'd have it run. I'd have I'd have it run off of its own monitors, and I'd have it run off of its own hardware. So like I was looking into a um a Raspberry Pi and a couple of other things to use that as like the only thing that it would be connected to, with like its own little solid state drive, you know. It's a little solid state drive, its own small bits of RAM, you know, just so that would like hide that little tiny PC in the corner. It'd be super fun. Like, what I would display on it though is, I don't know. Actually, I haven't really thought what I would display on it. Like, because it's like black and purple. Because it's like black, white, and purple. My thought is to kind of give it like a amethyst style shimmer as like the background. You know, like I'll have it like run a really slimmed down version of like probably Windows 10 on it, right? Just so I can take advantage of some things like the workshop of um from what is it yeah, wallpaper engine. Yeah, and I'll just take advantage of using wallpaper engine, right? Um, that or I might just that or I might just that or I might just have it just be like a like that, or I might just look at that or that. Like I think like they have like a Raspberry Pi flavored pigs. Uh, like I think they have like a Raspberry Pi Linux distribution as well, which I mean it also gives me a reason to try that out. Um, which like I mean like I know a friend who's recently swapped over to Cashy. I think like I think my brother Levi has tried Cashy as well. Don't you dare go near me. I'm warning you. I have blocks and I'm not afraid to punch you with them. I think another thing that like another thing I've been looking looking into is probably a different case entirely. Like yeah, my current case works. I just want one with more room for what I want to do. Because currently I can't really have the front panel on without it pressing up against my wires for my GPU wires. So like they just kind of like press up against the glass, and I'm personally not a fan of how that looks because it makes me nervous. Um, Probably not something to be nervous about, but definitely definitely something that does, even if it shouldn't. Oh, are you fighting Mario versus Luigi? All right, good. All right, all right. Good luck. All right. Pig, you better start running. I think like another thing I saw is that there was dungeons as well. Another thing I'm gonna be looking into um like maybe some like bug fix mods for for this version. Like it doesn't need performance optimizations. I'm running just fine. Like hold on, if I F3, hold on, oh wait, I don't need, oh wait, F3 doesn't work. I need to, that's 3D analoglyph, let's see here, show FPS. As you can see, currently, like I have my FPS capped. So if I like turn off my frame rate limits, I'm just gonna pop up to 1300, 11 to 1200 frames a second. It's yeah, it it yeah, which maybe I'm just gonna like keep the limit frame rate off, because I've also noticed that it does run smoother without it, which is weird. I think I think another thing I'm probably gonna work on as well, right, is attempt to get like if I get like if I don't get it working on this system, like I might just see what, because like I don't know, like sometimes I struggle to find like information on things, like especially like whenever I'm looking at a problem with uh with DaVinci's Resolve. Oh boy, we have a whole I might have to go out of my way to punch the sheep. Let me punch these. It's essentially free wool. After after I head up here, I guess. And if I pop up here and yeah, this should help me like net a ton more cobble in the meantime. Because I think like digging a quarry feels feels more impressive than just going strip mining in the end, right? Because like strip mining can be kind of boring, but like I feel like digging out an entire like chasm to appeal to impede to your to all of your needs for cobblestone and everything else, I think I think is kind of the more fun option. All right. Oh, I think oh, the wool is still there. Awesome. You better not. You better not. You better not disappear on me while I'm walking towards you. All right. I think I think Alright, so with this, I'm probably going to slowly, remove this like, as soon as we, I know we're, like, below sea level. I can already tell we're below sea level. If you weren't aware, sea level is exactly Y63, is Y64, but C is at exactly Y63, which is just 3 blocks down. Which means, like, right here is sea level, then right below here is below sea level, and then right there is, like, below sea. You're starting to get below sea level the moment you step into that water. So I know for a fact that I am currently below sea level. So which means that's 63. So after the third block from there, so we have, this is the third. So this is the third block, so we have, so right here this is, so this is 63, 62, 61, 60, 59. We are currently at Y level 50. We are currently working on Y level 57, which is a really fun way to keep track of your quarry. It is very fun. It is very nice when you're trying to keep track of how far you are in your quarry, right? You gotta know how deep you are, and the best way to do that is to, well, know how many blocks you are above sea level. Which, I've drank an entire coffee and I'm still cold, and apparently it's supposed to be blazing hot today. Well, if it manages, well, I mean, it's like, which I don't think it's going to be that. It's probably just gonna be, it's probably just gonna be weather for me to sit on a rock in the middle of the sunlight. Or type of, or at least that's probably the weather that's gonna happen. Coffee. Not full. My cup isn't full. Like, I think recently, I've noticed that I've switched my taste from I think from whenever it comes to sodas, I used to drink Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew, and a couple of other things, right? Now I've just kind of noticed that I've started drinking a little more Dr. Pepper, right? None of these are brand sponsorships at all, cause knowing any company, I would not be able to get that lucky. How did I pull that glitch off again? But yeah, there's a ton of really weird bugs in this version. I think some of the projects I want to work on in this, eventually is, I'm probably gonna end up making an entire, like after I get the whole thing going, I'm gonna make an entire bit. I'm gonna be making probably gonna making making more parts of like my village, right? I might make a whole housing district as well, because like we gotta make sure like people have houses, right? Uh, I also have noticed that we're slowly getting close to having everything leveled. I think the only thing that isn't going to be leveled is this. Never mind. Okay, everything is going to be at the same level eventually, which is good. We kind of need that, which will make it way easier when dealing with this. Like I find it way easier to deal with things in layers, right? As demonstrated here. Digging out like all those spotches of like dirt and stuff like that feels like it takes way longer. And this right here is just like makes your body just go full autonomy essentially, and it's like a simple repetitive task essentially. I think which like so like if any of you like I know like there's a which like I remember my like I was like I remember it, like I used to do this all the time, and I used to enjoy Minecraft a ton just by digging a massive hole in the world. Just for the main fact of that, like, oh yeah, there's just, oh yeah, I dug a massive, oh yeah, I've dug out oh yeah, I dug out, so somebody be like, okay, so somebody be like, I got all these diamonds, just got all this cobblestone, I'm alright, and they're like, well, so as I'm like, I also have this giant hole that is 8 by 8 chunks. Literally just have an entire 8 by 8 chunk hole just chilling there near my base. And and I feel like it's more fun that way, right? Yeah, like the whole, like the entire thing with it is, we're gonna need a lot of these, a lot of bits of these coal. I have no idea what I'm gonna do for my, lights. I think I have somewhat of an idea, right? Like, I don't want to make it look, I just wish I had fences. Like, genuinely. I genuinely wish I had fences right now. But I don't think fences were added until Alpha, I believe. Wood slabs, I don't believe were added until Beta. And, so, like, yeah, there's, like, a huge limitation on the amount of blocks that I can use, which is actually okay, actually. One of the, one of, like a project I have planned for another day is going to, well, be me making basically an entire labyrinth, right? That is, underground, right? And, it's gonna contain rooms of all sorts, kind of like inspired off of kind of like giving because like labyrinths are repetitive mazes, right? And the thing is I want it to feel like a more like Minecraft style liminal space, right? Because like this is pretty easy to do, right? However, I think the hardest part about doing all that, right, I'm gonna end up making like multiple layers. Like you don't know like how deep down you're actually going until it's too late. With each room being a representative of like different parts of like can be different representative parts of your life, you know, like I can have one that is literally just a classroom. Something makes me want to like go and like I could like there's a lot of things you can do. I think like to be fair, like I did not really do my classwork as much because like it bored me. There was like I didn't have enough challenge for like anything, and it was just like like I think I was like one of those like really like weird kids in school, right? That just needed a bit that like I got burned out from like a lot of things from school. The main thing is things being way too repetitive, right? And and like and if it's something that I already know, I'm not gonna be willing to do my work for that at all. Which I've which I which I'm sure I which I probably didn't state because I was like quiet in school a lot of the time. So like I didn't really talk much. Didn't really talk much in class. So like which I think the main part is because I'm also usually quite I think shy rather than introverted. So I'm more of like the shy type, right? Which so like I don't normally talk to people until I start getting comfortable, and then I'll absolutely jabber your ear off, essentially. Like it's like I think like every one of my friends have noticed that. Though yet again, um, yesterday like I was gonna play No Man's Sky with my friend, right? But like literally yesterday, I got completely caught up with trying to get DaVinci's Resolve working. Gave myself a headache, and then I just quit for the day. Cause like cause like it shouldn't be this bad to get DaVinci's Resolve working on here. Like it's not. And no, I'm not switching back to Windows. I'm not installing the spyware. You can go if you're gonna come and just switch back to Windows, I'm going to immediately ban you from the channel. This is not a warning. This is a threat. Like because I genuinely just I also prefer the lightweight of Linux anyways, so it's alright. And besides, like I might actually like look a little more into my like I might try to find like or like or if you're a Debian user and you have DaVinci's Resolve and you do you have this problem with Resolve 21? Cause like I had it working with Resolve 20. I might try to do Resolve 20, right? And see if that fixes the issue. Maybe it's just a huge bug with Resolve 21 that is causing the main amount of issues, which I guess is which I guess kind of has its own set of, which I mean, then I'm gonna have to like look into that set of issues and see what happened. Like, cause I had cause I had it working last time, right? And I was using Mesa with 0 issues. Which I don't remember all of what I did though last time. I might have done some weird BS. Oh yeah, I think last time I did that, I created another Frankendebian. Um, oh yeah, that's how I did it. I ended up creating a Frankendebian. At this point, I'm just wondering if I should just like make my own OS at this point. Uh, like, like I mean, like probably some of you would end up recommending like Fedora, but like, I don't like the way Fedora works, if that makes sense. Like, it's just not my style. Like, and it doesn't like fit like what my workflow style. Like, though to be fair, like I'm also just sitting there like I'm doing like a lot of things with like gaming wise, right? And video editing, and as well as just doing outright office work on there, on my PC. So maybe that's just it could just be a byproduct of that, or maybe just like it could just be the byproduct of that. I'm just so used to Debian after like I think like I've used it for so long that like it's I think I started using Debian around I think I started messing with Debian around like 2010, I think, or 2008, somewhere along that lines. Like, I've toyed with, like, I think, I think I originally toyed with it on a Chromebook, I think I originally started to fully play with it on a Chromebook, right? I had a Chromebook, right? Because, I needed it for, like, at one point that I was, like, for, like, school. So, like, I went to, so, like, I immediately went into installed Linux on it, as you should, as you should. For because Chrome OS is garbage. But like, uh, but yeah, like, but I think like a lot of the time though, like my teachers were not very appreciative of me generously installing a system they are unfamiliar with. Like I think I mainly did it on like my home Chromebook. Like, and I brought like 2 Chromebooks. I had like 2 Chromebooks at school. So like one was my main go-to Chromebook for everything else, while I used my main while I used the school Chromebook for like school related stuff, because like listen, like I ain't good. And then they started using the stupid Go Guardian thing, and I'm just like, yeah, no, this is the reason why. Yeah, this is just, as I'm like, this is just outright spyware. My brain immediately picked it up as outright spyware, so I'm just like, yeah, no. Like, yeah, no, I do. It's like, yeah, no. If you do not trust the students this much, like, why are you giving us these anyways? If you don't trust us to, like, if you don't even trust us like that. Because like I do not feel like there should be any reason to install literal spyware, by the way. Literally the definition of spyware onto a school computer. Like, it's just, I mean, I think the main part of, I think the main part of the issue with, like, schools doing that is, I feel like it creates a distrust between, like, them, with, like, them and, like, the actually tech literate of the student body. Because, like, genuinely, I feel like, half the time, like, I wouldn't be, which, by the way, like, I have removed GoGuardian originally from one of the Chromebooks that I had, right? Like, and as soon as I removed it, I've noticed a huge performance boost in every aspect of the Chromebooks. Because Chromebooks have because Chromebooks can already just barely run Chrome, much less anything else. And that's the funny part about it, right? Is that, like, they can barely run Chrome. They should be able to run Chrome. But, like, they were just, like, so cheaply built as well. Awful quality. Like, I think, like, I've been looking into a, Lenovo ThinkPad as well, right? Just to, like, move all of my main office work to it. For, like, doing my, books and, for, like, having my books and such on there. Like, having my books, and then I can keep all of my main, like, all of my stuff there as well. Like, so I'll have, like, all my books, all my notes, all my, like, all my notes that I use on Obsidian, because, like, I use Obsidian for my notes, as well as for, like, most of my book planning, and then I'll use LibreOffice for my main, for the main part of my writing process. And I also, and which is, which, like, all of these I use, all the things I use are free, because, like, I am not, because, like, which, like, just because, like, I don't constantly want to pay for software. I think currently, like what I make my thumbnails with, right, I use GIMP, right? Which, I think I currently have, like, the photo GIMP patch for it as well, which, makes it act a little more like Photoshop, because, like, I did Photoshop in school, right? I did have a pretty decent understanding of Photoshop from that. Like, yeah, and besides, like, I'm not running, Photoshop through an emulator. I think, and honestly, I don't even think I used, I think I, like, barely even, like, used any Adobe products. Like, I was just never a huge fan of, like, their layouts, right, etc. Like, I know, like, some YouTubers still use Adobe, but, like, genuinely, like, I just do not like Adobe. I just, like, I don't know, I just got so used to Resolve after a while that, whenever I was doing video editing, I was talking to, like, I think I was, like, talking to a friend about, DaVinci's Resolve, right? Which is what I was using then to edit my videos, right? And they're, like, which I was using to edit my videos, right? Because, like, I did not want to deal with Adobe's BS, right? Because at the time I could have it, because I could have DaVinci's Resolve because it was free. It still is. and I hope they never change that. Which I think I was talking about, like how much like I hate the way that Adobe is designed. Which surprisingly, Resolve does run better than Adobe. Which like I think like I think I might, which I know last time I had Mesa running on here. Like I think like what are my Mesa drivers currently? Like do I have 20? I think I have Mesa 26, don't I? I have like the most up-to-date Mesa currently. Like I have it on a, like I'm using Debian backports. Control T, and if I fast fetch, let me fast fetch real quick. Oops, I apparently cannot spell. Alright. But okay, so from what I'm looking at it, alright. Apparently I'm only on 6.3.6 for KDE Plasma. I thought I had a different Plasma version. I knew I was on Plasma 6 though. Let's see here. Yep, it says Wayland. 6.12 for the Linux kernel. I think currently. I think like I have. Do I? Wait, is it not showing my? Huh. Apparently it does. Apparently it does not show my. Apparently it does not show my Mesa driver version. I thought fast fetch did that. I might actually look up on. I might actually like look into like. I might actually look to see how like I could add that to my fast fetch. Like I could just I think it's like LS. Was it LS or like I don't remember at the top of my head. Listen, I don't remember commands at the top of my head. Why would you need to? Like I could see it being helpful to remember commands at the top of your head, but whenever you're not constantly dealing with with having to look all that stuff, like I might actually look to see how one thing I always install the moment I download any distro, basically. Like even when like I don't distro hop, I just kind of like if I'm looking into something, I usually just open a VM, right? And so that way like I can like do a bit of testing, see how I like it, like mess with the virtual machine for a while, see how it runs my software, and etc. The stuff that I like, the stuff that I want. I've also been looking into Void as well, just for but I've noticed that like I need it's like I noticed that for some reason it does not seem to like the fact that it does not seem to like the way that I set everything. It does not seem to like my virtual machine, like being in a virtual machine. Is that normal? I'm not sure if I like messed something up, or not sure if I like messed up like some of the parts of whenever like doing some of the stuff related to the because one thing is like whenever you set up a virtual machine, right? Like I've noticed that I tend to like it like whenever it does like I tend to have like everything working pretty well normally in a virtual machine. However, like Void has been I think like Void, Rocky, and like I know like Rocky isn't useful for my workflow, but like I just wanted to look into it. I think the oh okay, so if you start mining, go into your inventory and then just keep holding it down, you can just go like this. And then you can just mine blocks without any sort of animation. Very dumb. We gotta love silly and dumb we gotta love dumb and silly glitches. Honestly, I feel like a lot of like dumb and silly glitches like has made a lot of games better. Which I think the main thing I'm going to like I think like as soon as we reach far enough into this world, we might we're gonna have to like look at the like because I know like we're gonna have like enough so I know for a fact that I'm gonna have enough of the these. I'm just gonna break these here and go to bam bam just like that, just to kind of like make it a little easier to work with. We might just do one more layer after this and then call this a day then, right? Cause this is a lot. This is a lot of like there's this because like I also have something to do around. Cause I also have an appointment around like 2 p.m. So like yeah, I gotta get prepared for that. So like it's either we finish the next layer or it hits around or it hits around like or it hits around like or it hits around like 1 p.m. and then I'll have to like start to get ready for an appointment. So I think also one thing I've noticed is like I have a pair of over the ear headphones is like they suddenly stopped working on my mic. I don't think my mic killed them. I don't think they did. But for some reason they just stopped. Like they worked good for a while, like cuz I prefer like studio headphones. Mainly because like especially like the open backs cuz like I'm not really I don't really care much about audio quality. It's more of like whether or not I can hear my surroundings. I hate anything that traps sound. Which is why like I have my mic on every time I'm like playing a game or whatever, right? And I need both my earphones in because currently I'm just using a pair of like IEMs I bought for like 20 bucks. Which seem to be working a lot better, by the way. Like, which seems to be working a lot better, weirdly enough. I'm not usually a huge fan of like earbuds, nonetheless. Like I think like I don't really care for wireless either because like I don't know like I've just been against wireless from day one. It's I don't know, maybe like that's like maybe that might be remember like at one point there was talks about like boomer traits, but like then I'm just like, so I'm just like, so my brain is just like, yeah, don't ever touch a smart TV. That's what I'm gonna say. Smart TVs are awful. I've been saying that from day one. I do not like smart TVs. Like I think they're the worst thing ever. They do not need to be complex. Thank you. TVs should never be complex. Thank you. They do not need special software. They just need to run. They just need to all you need to do, all I want to do with my all I want to do with that is slide all I want to do with my listen, I have one thing that I want the TV to do. I just want it to play my I just want it to be a display. Same thing with monitors. All I wanted to do is display what I'm trying to do. Am I watching a movie or an anime? I better only see the movie or an anime. If I see an ad, I am going to destroy it. Uh, well then, that's probably gonna need to be a patch. I'm probably gonna have to make a patch for that. Oh my gosh. Like, if there's not already a patch. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna look it up right here, right now. Alright. That's, let's see here. Let's see here. Hmm. Is there anything that does not add? Is there any? Ain't no way I found a GitHub mod loader for the mod loader on GitHub for that. Um, for for InDev, that's crazy. Like I think they is there anything that is there a mod that just fixes InfDev and not just huh huh I have no idea. But like I just huh like I would have just patched my jar on camera. I would have just used that as a jar. Like I don't mind patching jars at all. Because like if I'm just gonna like lose a ton of material from uh from the end of my pickaxe, I kind of don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of losing an entire ore because of a pickaxe fault. A fault in the pickaxe, which I think next time I go to mine the ore, I'm just not gonna use just gonna use a different pickaxe entirely. But yeah, until I figure out like what I'm gonna be using for um I have no idea if there is like any like mod for InfDev that just outright just patches bugs. You know, like I do love InfDev. Um, I just want some bug patches. Is that normal? Right? Like I was gonna just deal with like the bugs. But like at this point, do I actually want to deal with the bugs or you know, like I don't feel like I want to deal with the bugs if they're like I don't want to deal with like there's a couple of bugs that I'm probably gonna want to fix as well. Like which I think alright. Yeah. See that last one just doesn't drop anything and it's quite frankly awful. Yeah, I think it's just yeah, I think we said like one more layer, was it? Yeah, after this it's like one more layer, and we should, which we're probably gonna get there actually, which is super cool because like then we get to which like then we're gonna have to start by going upward is start by placing some more of those. I'm probably just gonna grab the ones from in my, oh my gosh. Like, as much as I love the jankiness of this version, it says some things are... Let me have your wool. There we go. That's 16 pieces of wool from those sheep. Actually, how many are there? 2, 4, 7, roughly. So 7, yeah, like, I was about to say, if there was 8, that would be around 2 wool per sheep, but, like, I know most of them did different numbers, so, which is kind of cool. I think, what is, we're slowly gonna, removing this one layer at a time. I think another thing that we might do as well is if we see ore, right? I'm just gonna yoink it right here on the spot, since we're gonna be grabbing this anyways. In the next layer, it'll make it a little easier on us for the next layer, and mainly just the iron, right? Because like, yeah, like yeah, we're gonna be getting like, yeah, we're gonna end up netting a ton of like iron, gold, and maybe even diamonds as soon as we dig this far. And mainly this hole is to just like just flex the fact that we wasted a ton of pickaxes on it. And that's the thing that I recommend doing. One thing I recommend doing, that if you ever do this on this version, use stone. Use stone pickaxes. Do not use strictly iron ones. It's best just to use stone. It's they're way cheaper. They're better, and really, you're not really netting too much off of using an iron pick compared to an iron pick. Using like I'd only keep an iron or diamond pick on you in case you find diamonds or anything that requires an above stone tier pick for. And that's the only thing I'd keep keep a pick like that around. Which, I think, I think one of the next things, I think after I get this uploaded though, I'm just going to be working on a book again. I'm just gonna be working on one of my books, like, because like, I don't really see much else to do for my life at the moment. Like, because like until like or at least I'd probably just have that going on in the background, right? I have a I believe I have a ThinkPad saved. Like, it's just gonna be like one of those older ThinkPads, right? I could probably get one of the newer ThinkPads, right? Like, for even just like the support overall. Though I've also been looking into a framework laptop, because like, I just like repairable laptops. What can I say? Like, I just like tearing things apart. And they also have a DIY option, which is awesome, actually. I just want to put together a laptop. Is that a bad thing? I don't think so. I think it's more like the fact that I just enjoy like putting things together and tearing them apart, right? Like, I think it's like I feel like it's kind of like a I think it's like kind of like the like something I think like it's like the essence of a curious person, right? Like, if they're taking things apart and putting them back together just to see how they work and are put together, they're probably a curious person. Probably a curious person who are very curious on how things work, so they'll tear it apart and put it back together. Just this, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with, because like, I think we're slowly getting through our floors one little bit at a time. I think, and I need to head back up and I'll let myself grab some other things. Oh, look. And that's another piece of iron. Like, iron is pretty common as well. Like, it's not necessarily a very hard material to find. It's actually really easy to find it. I think the main part about finding it happens to just be. I think the only reason it would be somewhat like I think like the main reason like is because like it goes out so quickly, so like you don't really have time to Alright, let me see here. Let me throw all of these here. Alright, let me throw out all of these. can use them to now I can use them to, well, destroy the next, like, at least start on the next layer. Yeah, that was a single. Also, which, like, I'm probably just going to, oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. I think that's, do I want to start doing this? Otherwise I'm gonna be tempted to just grab all the coal. Well, I mean, because we're already gonna be working on that layer soon, we're only gonna do that layer. And I just kind of want the coal because I just need it. Because like coal, you can never really have enough of it, to be fair. Like you can, like in vanilla, never enough coal. I think, which, I'm gonna finish my coffee as well. I should probably buy some tea next month. I could just like boil a bit of water on the stove. I can just boil a bit of water on the stove and because I'm not gonna buy, because like I'm not planning to buy a kettle anytime soon. But yeah, I might look into some tea. If anybody has any like recommendations for tea, that would also be lovely. Cause like I like both coffee and tea, but sometimes I just don't really want coffee. Like and then my brain's just like, yeah, tea sounds good, but I don't want this type of tea. Yeah, I might also get like the different type of stuff, like raw honey and such. But yeah, I think a lot of the like, and yeah, but every time I mention a brand in this video, it's just not gonna just know that that none of them are telling me to speak any of these things. Because I don't really have favorite brands, to be fair. Well, except Noctua, actually. So that's a lie. And if you're wondering what my favorite GPU brand was, you already know. You already know whenever I mention Kingpin cards. I would have loved to have one. But I mean, listen, what can I do? What can I do? And another thing, right? I don't I've also I've been looking into making I've been looking into more into game engines work, right? Currently, I'm currently working on a lighting API based off of Vulkan, I think, right? So like that way it makes it way easier to develop for like Linux and such. Like and I think that, and I might also try to fork like I might also get OpenGL in there for older devices until I figure out how to make my own lighting API, which probably isn't going to be anytime soon at all. I there there I'm not gonna go through all that. Um I which like I think the reason why I was thinking of like my own lighting API rather than dealing with like Vulkan or OpenGL, etc., is one, I can have it community maintained, right? So like if I like release one version, right? If like I can like have like I can also like release it to the community, right? And have them make whatever bug patches and whatever not, right? So like because like I wanted to like work on both older and modern hardware, right? While being able to utilize modern hardware easy, while being able to handle help lower end software handle better graphics at higher frame rates, and maybe like a better optimization of shaders code, like shaders and stuff like that. Cause like which like Cause like I mean like OpenGL like is not a like, and one thing I know is that like even if I just have like OpenGL and Vulkan as like both of like the two main for two main lighting APIs, right? I can still at least like it'll be great for those. It'll be great because then it gives you options for both, right? Which which my whole plan though is to make it completely modular, right? So like I just want it to be like completely modular, you know. So like for like, oh, you want to make a module? Like, yeah, like oh, like maybe you want to like and another thing I wanted to do with it, right, is I wanted it to like hook into another engine, to where like you can have it hook into an engine, like essentially like have it like talk to the engine and like give it like fixes for the engine that you're using, as well as adding its own patches for things on its side, right? Though yet again, another thing I want to deal with is, well, modding, right? Is because like I like Unreal and I like the usability of Unreal, right? I like what it can do. I also like what Unity can do, right? And some of our stuff requires Unity. I think Godot is super modular, but I wanted to have the ease of but I also just want it to be as easy to mod as just dropping in a as just dropping in the as just dropping a zip folder. Like just a genuine zip folder is but like that's kind of like how the creation engine works, you know? Like built-in mod support, or like you just have a mods folder right away. You go into the mods folder, just drop a zip file in of a valid mod, right? And the game will detect that and will try to read it, right? If you know, which I do think that would be super nice, right? like I might make it to where it'll just to like you don't. I might try to see like it shouldn't be too crazy hard to like make it sure it just reads the contents of the zip file rather than having you unzip it. You know, like I could probably just look how the creation engine does it as well. Like just to get a rough idea on how to pull that off. Like I think like I have like a simple like I think I have like a lot of like I think I have like a love-hate relationship with like the creation engine as well. Like it is like don't get me wrong, it's built one of my favorite games. Some of my favorite games like Oblivion, Skyrim, and Fallout New Vegas. So um I think Fallout 3 was pretty good. Not my favorite of the series. For like creation engine. Fallout 4 was decent as well. New Vegas has a wonderful story, but I think Fallout 4 still like in my opinion has a bit better gunplay maybe. Like I don't know, because New Vegas still has like a ton of issues. Like it's best to play it on PC and then just like install like mods for like bug fixes and such. And which because like I think like it's mainly like the community that maintains it. Though yet again, I've also heard that the Elder Scrolls 6 is eventually coming out. I might I might try to do a playthrough of the Elder Scrolls 6. That would be I would be really I've been waiting for the Elder Scrolls 6, and then apparently also Fallout 5. Don't know where in the world it's set in at the moment. Like I'm trying not to spoil myself in any sense or way. I just want to see it in my lifetime. Is that like I don't think that's a I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm not gonna be playing GTA 6 because one, like I just don't want to play GTA 6. The last Grand Theft Auto I've ever played was like San Andreas, I think. And that was on like the PS2. So it's which so like yeah, it's been like since like the PS2 era since like I've actually touched and apparently somebody said I did play 5 apparently. I don't even remember ever touching GTA 5 like ever. Like in fact, I don't even remember a single lick of that map. I don't even know the main characters of GTA 5. Like the main cast. Like I don't even know I don't even I don't know basically anything about GTA 5. I've also been watching this one game as well. It is Ananta, right? I think I like play NTE like on my own, right? If you want to see a video on me, just enjoying NTE, I can. But like it's but yeah. If Hota Studios is listening, please just allow me to go fishing with my friends. Fishing isn't fun without your friends, okay? Fishing isn't very fun when you don't have your friends to fish with. Which that's literally just what I want. Like all I want to do is just go fishing with my friends, right? Cause like I think we went to try, we just could not fish. In multiplayer, it's like let us fish. though yet again, I also think you should be able to do parts of the story and a lot more in multiplayer, because like NT's multiplayer is like awful. Like, I don't usually play it often unless like like you know what would be even cooler, right? If you can play 900, like the 999 nights event, right? With your buddies, right? Like, you all go in as your own, like you all go in as like a different character. Like, it'd be super cool. Like, there's a lot that could be great for that. Like, there are several things that I think which I'm currently though yet again there are a ton of bugs as well for NT 1.2. Like, one of the weirdest things I've come across is whenever I come across two buses trying to make a little baby bus, or maybe I'll see three of them trying, or maybe I'll see three of them trying to become a caterpillar. I which and then they'll just vibrate constantly. Whenever you're riding around on the Porsche, yes, I have the Porsche. It'll vibrate on certain parts of the road in the map. I've noticed this all over the place. It's quite literally yeah, it's not like game breaking. It's just what is going on here? It is so confusing though. Whenever everything just cars and stuff just start bouncing around, looking like one of those old those old black and white shows for all the movements are expressed, and there's no talking, and it's just all music. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. That's what kind of what it feels like, with them bouncing, with the vehicles and such bouncing. It is so off-putting in a way. In a way, it's kind of off-putting. It's like, what the? I don't think vehicles are supposed to work like that. But yeah, but yeah, there's a ton of things I think should also work. One, I think you should be able to, I think you should be able to, I think since you can do the heists with your friends, you can also race your friends. I think though yet again, I think there should be fishing. I think you should be able to fish with them and do a lot of the single player activities that you can do there in multiplayer, right? Also, even a leveling friendship mechanic for your friends and such, that would be super cool. Imagine having, but they don't have to give the same buffs as whenever you're leveling bond with a character, right? That is absolutely not what I'm saying. They just have to, it would just be really cool to it'd just be really cool to have. So if one of you are, so if you and a friend are in the same world, and you two are at a bond level of X amount, let's say you both are at friendship level 5, right? It'll just if you're both fishing, you'll both have a higher percentage, a little boost in fish catching power, right? And a little EXP increase for that. which I think would be kind of cool, right? For like fishing and such. And it would, which though, yet again, I should be able to have my friend on the back of my motorcycle. Like, tell me why I can't, why I can't, why I can't let my why I can't let my friend hop on the back of my Draco. Like, come on. Like, come on. Like, what's wrong with that? So you're telling me I can have characters like Mint, Lacrimosa, and even I don't know, like Fadia on the back, but like I can't I can't just have one of my friends on there. Come on. Which is why I'm kind of which is I'm probably still gonna end up playing NTE, right? Even after like what is it? The Ananta, even after Ananta drops, because like I'm genuinely invested in the NTE story. So like it is like I'm genuinely invested in it. Like it's a good story. Like I can say that outright. Which I think, which if you're wondering who my favorite character is, Hathor. Yeah, I said it, Hathor. It's Hathor. But like, but yeah, there's a lot of, but yeah, like I think, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna head up here, go into my house, grab like 4 of, let me, boom, boom, and, bam, boom. 32 iron, look at all that, that's beautiful, that is such a beautiful sight. Alright, then I can go like this, like that. Which like, but yeah, like I'm gonna talk a little more about like my vintage story thing that I'm challenging myself with, right? So like my vintage story playthrough, like the first year is going to be I'm not allowed to have anything metal, right? It's all stone, right? Anything I can have in the Stone Age, I can have it. But I added, I believe Jack's Stone Chisel, I think is what it's called. A fine door, stay open. I didn't want to close you anyway. Like, because like I'm not gonna go an entire year in vintage story without a chisel. But because like I know the chisel can, I know like the stone chisel can do something that like I don't want it to do, like the so the stone chisel the stone chisel has a allows you to chisel just about anything a metal chisel does, which is why I've limited the blocks that I can use, right? If I can't mine it with the tools available to me, I am not allowed to use it. I'm not allowed to use that block, right? So if I can pick it up with my fists, so if I can like break it with my fists, example, ice, like as an example, like an ice block, I can use that. However, if I can't, or if I can't pick it up with my fist, if I can't pick it up with my fist, but I can use a axe to pick it up, then I can use that. But if I need a pickaxe, I'm not allowed to. Like I can use stuff like shovel. I can use stuff that like requires a shovel, right? Or I can use cobblestone. I can pick up cobblestone because like that I can get in the Stone Age. So that's gonna be like yeah, it's gonna be like very this is gonna be like a very interesting it's gonna be like a very interesting first year. I have never survived it. I've never gone through a winter in Vintage Story with stone tools. So yeah, this is bound to be interesting. So it's bound to be interesting. And I thought, why not? It'll give me a challenge and something else to do. Oop. And give me a reason to not just immediately skip to iron within the first 3 months of gameplay. For the first 3 in-game months. Which like by the way, I've actually which I think on my hardcore world though, I think like I got it. Like I think I have I have the ability to smelt iron already. And it's because I found like one really weird structure, right? It's like a weird dome-like structure at the top, and then there's like a rusted door, right? Like I originally popped in there thinking like, oh yeah, this would be a good temporary base for to protect me from the weather, right? And here to find out it's a whole here to find out it's a whole structure. And I couldn't help but have my curiosity quite piqued at this. So I went down and risked the entire run. And I risked the entire personal run just to see what this was. Still have no idea what it is. But there's a bunch of coal. There was forges down there, entire planks and more. Like there was a ton of chests. There was a lot of loot. There was different and then there was like a ton of like barrels with there was like a ton of barrels with coal in it, I think. It was like contaminated coal. Like I have no idea what I found. I have no idea what I found. Like all I know is that all I know is that I came across it, right? Like after all I know is that I just randomly came across it. So like I don't know what it is. It's like how am I supposed to know what it is? Because for all I know it could be relative to the story. I did find a couple of notes in there as well, like for I think I found a couple of scrolls for lore, which was kind of cool. I do like reading the lore. I love reading, genuinely. Like I don't know how people don't do. I don't get why some people don't like reading. Like what? Recently I have been reading let's see. Let me grab the I think it's the Mimosa Confessions. That's what I've been reading lately, right? Which I do which I have been very much enjoying. Currently working through book 1. I think like the one that that ended up getting me to like buy more books was whenever I was watching like Sharon. Yeah. And I'm like, curse you! Now I have to buy. Now I must buy. Now I must outcompete my library again. Must outcompete my local library with the amount of books I must get. And essentially, jokes aside, if I ever get that many books, I'm probably just gonna start my own little local library. You know, and probably just like it'd be or if I just have like too many books, right? And I'll probably end up just donating them to my local library. You know, because like if I have too many books, right, and like I don't want and I don't have the room, I'll just besides I know that if I donate them to the local library, right, one thing I at least know is one, they're still gonna be read, right? Two, it's also gonna it would it gives them a bigger variety, and three, the local library was one of my favorite places to be. Like as a kid, I loved the library. Though yet again, I was always like that one person that liked to read books and such. Like I have electronic books. I just don't read them as much as I do like my physical books. I think whenever I first start releasing my actual like books though, I want to like make pre-orders like come with a full leather bound, right? I want them to be leather bound. I'm willing to pay that extra bit just for like special pre pre-order leather bound books. That would be so fun. Oh, that'd be so nice. Um, but that would be. Could you like? I know a lot of people who would love to have a leather bound book. Like I genuinely really wanna have my like I think I might do that for like my pre-order books only, right? They wouldn't be like a permanent stock thing. Just because like I want them to feel special, you know? Cause a leather bound book, right, would be like a leather bound book that is like actively like signed, right? Would be super cool. Um, though yet again, I don't want to like hand write them, right? Like I could probably write them by hand, right? I could probably like write one by hand and then have the handwritten one just copied over and over, essentially, right? Via photocopier, maybe. But because like it would be that, or I just have it scanned, put into like LibreOffice and then printed out. It has like a custom like, oh here's my crappy handwriting. In a leather bound book, it's handwritten and everything. Like I've never I just say that I write books. I never said I had good handwriting. But I mean like I don't like I used to have good handwriting, to be fair. Like I had a like teacher who constantly rushed me in school because apparently I wrote very slow. And I don't know why she didn't like it so much, but like come on. Come on. Come on. At least you could read it. Like literally like everyone could read my handwriting until then. Like I might go out of my way to I might actually go out of my way to well that I might actually go out of my way. Like if I do like the whole leather bound thing, I will end up taking my time in writing them, right? Like which like will I make each and every single one unique? Absolutely not. It would be super. It would be fun though. It would be fun to have every single one of them unique to uh to the person or pre-ordering it, but like that also but that also would take a ton more time and would end up making pre-orders take even longer because then I have to rewrite the book more than once, right? Just to accommodate this, why would I want like each handwritten book to be the same, to be different, right? Like I could, right? Like I could, like I mean, like as much as I could, like I don't want to. Like I'd be sitting there for absolutely ages, right? And and I'd have to work on them one at a time, because even if I did have to work them one at a time, because I'm gonna need a few more pickaxes, and we'll probably end up being done with this. But yeah. Like one of my dreams has always just been like being able to hold like a physical copy of one of like one of my own book of like one of my own work in progress books, but finished. It's always been a dream of mine. I'm currently working on. I think I'm currently working on that as well, right? I think I have like if you're unaware, like almost all of my books are connected in some way, shape, or form, right? Like they have some form of connection with each other. Um, which I'll which like I have an entire timeline plotted out, right? It's gonna be super fun to fully utilize that timeline. I still have yet to do like uh like like the first part of the timeline and the second part. Then there is I think like I currently have started the middle, the end of the timeline, and the end of the timelines, and the middle end. So essentially like the beginning of the end and the end essentially of the timeline. I have some of the however, I do have some of the other part um of the main bits of it done though. Which I do have quite a bit of it plotted out as well, like plot points and more. So you'll end up seeing that, right? I have a whole timeline. It's all intertwined with each other, and they do reference past events, yeah, obviously my timeline's a lot darker. I think one of them that I'm currently writing as well is one of the ones that I'm writing on top of one of the ones I'm writing, one of the ones that I'm currently not even in writing phase. I'm just more in the planning phase, I guess. If you wanna call it planning phase. It's what all it is the alright, which, like, I think, like, all it is the, um, which, like, which, it's, um, it's just the outline. Basically, all I have is the outline to show for it. Which, even then, like, the outline is better than not having anything. Because, like, why, like, if you have the because, like, currently I'm just plotting the outline of, like, the, of, like, the, so, like, there's the beginning, so, like, there's the beginning, and then there's the end of the beginning, and then there's the, so there's, like, 5 major plot points for there's, like, 5 major parts of the points on there. Like, I think I explained it to one of my friends as well, right? Like, I have the whole, like, I have, like, the whole timeline plotted out on an actual graph. So, like, it's, and the graph is based off the human population density from, one book to the other, right? If you can't tell already, these books are about to get dark. They will get dark, and that's how I like them. I like a darker book. Which I think, first we have, so the first part of the books, right, is you have, you have pre-takeover, is you have the pre-overthrowment, um, which, is pre, everything, essentially, um, which is, like, pre all the events that are to come from that, originally starting in 2068, um, and a basic summary of that is, 2068 was the first ever decides the first ever meeting to ever come into fruition on the, on in 2077, essentially. And a little thing I might add into there is, a little hint, nudge, nudge, that, like that, that it was just like a essentially like a whole graphics overhaul of Cyberpunk 2077. Like, essentially, like, nearly a remake. It would be I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be funny. I just thought it'd be funny for a book, as well, just to have, like, references to, like, a couple of, because, like, I do reference, like, a bit of pop culture as well. Like, I reference a lot of things in my books. You'll be able to easily catch the references. And I think, which is, and then which after 2077, you have the meetings of 2078 to 2092 to like 2080. So it's around 2082, and then 29, and around between 2088 and, 2092, you have the overthrowment, which is, whenever governments are overthrown and everything collapses, essentially. Like, which I'm not telling you exactly how that happens, because that's removing all the special surprise from it, like, which like I have a genuine passion for like what I'm writing as well. So then you have and then you during this moment, like after everything collapses, you have which after that it is the pre-near extinction, and then you have which during which well it, or it's well at this point it's called the Great Decline, which the Great Decline happens starts whenever governments are overthrown and humans are put near the brink of extinction. Um, so like then you have like and which as soon as the and which after the Great Decline is during the near extinction, which only like which humans are sometimes barely breaching the triple digits at this point. Um, which which already is insane, saying that like humans are barely breaching the triple digits during this time. And this and like a post Great Decline, it's already like the near extinction the near extinction zone lies on like 2182 already. So like humans didn't like immediately go extinct. Like it took a while to get there. So like and then you have and then you have like which is where like one of my books takes place during the near extinction. Um and you have in fact like there's going to be 10 books within the extinction event, which rolls from like 21 which rolls from like 2186 to around 20 22 to around 2290. um which like either 22, I think I set it to like 2290 or almost like 20, which is already it's which is already breaching a very long time. um like like I'll have to check the timeline again. Yeah, 20. Okay, so it's 24. Okay, so it's about 2482 by the time the near extinction event is over. Then you have the recovery period, essentially called the human recovery period, which is where I'm gonna have a animation take place, right? I really do like. I might have like an animation in a manga, and my brother wants to make it into a wants to make a I think he said he wanted to make it into a visual novel as well, right? And I'm like, okay, you can go ahead and do that. Like I'll supply the story then, which I think is gonna be absolutely amazing. Um, like yeah, there's a lot of things that are like severe that are like everything's intensively planned out, and then after the and then during the and then during the and then during the and then during this which essentially which this essentially is called the calming era. So this increase in human population ends up in the calming era, right around between 20 like 20 like 20 like between that between all of those. So between all of the other dates I've mentioned, and until it hits until it hits like almost 30, like 30 20 30 23, which is where the final books start taking place in something called the the peaceful travels period, um which is post like many disasters, and contains and which contains hints about who a lot of these people actually are. Which I can tell you that the one that I'm like the last one is taking place aboard a spaceship. Is taking place aboard on a spaceship. So like, which obviously like yeah I know. Some people are gonna say like, oh oh that's very creative. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Um, which to be fair, like a lot of this at this point, like which I have like my own writing style. If you want to write like me, I'm gonna wish you good luck, because like this, I'll give you how it's done. If you want to write a book like I do, give every character their own personality. Make sure every character is well thought out. You cannot have any gaps within a character. The next thing I recommend if you're going to try and copy my style is obsess about every little detail in within the timelines, right? Deeply explain why this happened, why that happened, right? Give every character like their chance to speak if you can. If you can give every character a chance to speak, right? So like every character can be so that way you can see like every character go out of their way to like even write their own pieces into like journal entries and such. Fully think out every character's personality, including side characters. Give them all their own little they're all their own little flair. It's a lot of work that I do with that. Maybe a bit too much. Like I think a lot of writers call me crazy because of that. Like it's way too much work for just a simple book, but honestly, it's my writing style to be fair. I can write it how I want. Like I think but yeah, like I think I don't know what to do with this area. My yeah, like but yeah, but yeah, that's my right. But yeah, that's essentially my writing style. And extra points if you give them each their own if you give each character their own font, their own writing style, spelling mistakes, right? I recommend that. I actually in fact recommend that because like whenever I'm writing a character, especially whenever they're the ones writing the book or even like it's like their journal entries, right? You'll see all of their spelling errors, all of their mistakes and more, whether or not they slip into another language and like you'll see like they'll have active character flaws like including in the writing, and I've had people tell me about that, right? I've had people tell me they're like, oh, there's a ton of spelling errors. Is I'm like, a lot of those are on purpose actually. I purposefully put spelling errors in there. It adds that one little extra flair of like uniqueness to the character, especially if like they're writing their own journal entry. Like let's say there's one writing their journal entry, right? Let's say they have flawless. Let's say let's just say they're flawless when it comes to typing, perfect, like they have amazing flawless writing. Then there's gonna be another. Then there's another who, and then there'll just be another who might just be entirely dyslexic, right? So like they'll make, or like even just have entire like, or maybe they might have issues with spelling, or they just don't care and they'll just write down whatever they have, and if it's close enough, it's close enough. Like like you can, like you'll be able to hear everything. Like you'll hear like how they do things. So, while I end off this rant with that, I hope you all have a nice rest of your day. Stay hydrated and stay safe and stay cool. While we're well, so I will so I will exit off and if you have any more questions on how to write like I do, just just ask and I'll answer and I'll end up answering you in the comments section. Like, so, we'll see you all in the very, very close future. Um, goodbye. Wee!